All right, welcome to this explainer on a pretty fascinating playbook we recently came across. It's called the 5 Payout Operational Roadmap version 2.0, and it's specifically built for the FundedNext Flex 50K account. Now, if you've ever dabbled in prop firm trading, where a firm hands you the capital to trade, you almost certainly know about the incredibly frustrating boom and bust cycle. You know exactly the feeling I'm talking about, right? You string together a few amazing days, you start feeling like an absolute market wizard, and then boom. In one rough afternoon, you watch all those digital gains just vanish before you can withdraw a single dime. It's brutal. So today we're walking through a roadmap that acts as your strict, uncompromising floor manager. It's designed to pull you out of that amateur gambling mindset and drop you into a highly repetitive, kind of boring, but beautifully profitable cash flow business. Because let's be real, we aren't here to build some massive, untouchable equity on a digital screen. We're here to extract actual cash.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with mindset, cash flow over dashboard. Then, phase 0, the buffer. After that, we'll cover the 5 payout cycles, followed by the operational floor. Then we'll get into emergency rules and protection, and finally, wrap it up with the final flex mantra.
Okay, let's jump right into section 1. Mindset, cash flow over dashboard.
To actually survive and succeed in this environment, you have to completely destroy the amateur ego trap that ruins, frankly, the vast majority of traders. The central illusion of modern trading is the dashboard. When you log in and see this massive number sitting in your account, your brain gets a huge dopamine hit. It literally tricks you into thinking you're suddenly wealthy. But listen, that dashboard, it's just a transit lounge for capital. It is entirely an illusion. A high number on a screen means absolutely nothing until it's transferred out. The only thing you should ever consider as actual true profit is a finalized withdrawal sitting safely in your real-world bank account. The money you can actually use to buy groceries or pay your rent. If you're trading just to get a high score on a prop firm screen, well, you're just playing a very expensive video game. We're here to get the gold out of the transit lounge and into the vault.
Moving on to section 2, phase 0, the buffer.
So before there's any glory, and honestly, long before you ever see a payout, there is a foundational grind. We call this phase 0. In this initial build phase, your sole objective, your only job, is to create an operational buffer. This is money made purely to buy you some breathing room and protect your core account. It is absolutely positively not for you to withdraw as profit. Think of it like a security deposit on an apartment. It's just there to absorb the inevitable scratches and dents of doing business. Starting at an initial balance of $50,000, your immediate, non-negotiable target is to reach $50,700. During this phase, you need to completely banish the thought of payouts from your mind. You are simply laying down defensive bricks so your account stays alive long enough to actually let you operate.
All right, section 3, the 5 payout cycles.
Once you hit that $50,700 mark, you officially enter operational mode. And this is where the mathematical approach of this roadmap is just brilliantly simple. For each cycle moving forward, your target profit is precisely $3,000. Now, you might be wondering why that exact number. Well, the FundedNext rules stipulate a 50% cycle profit withdrawal limit, and they place a maximum withdrawal cap of $1,500 for this specific tier. By generating exactly $3,000, you perfectly align with that maximum cap. It's mathematically optimized so you aren't leaving any idle money on the table, while still extracting the absolute maximum allowed by the firm's rules. It's like a puzzle piece that just fits perfectly into the system.
So, by generating that $3,000 in equity, you trigger the rules to extract exactly $1,500 in hard, real-world cash. And here is the real beauty of this system, the part that gives you an immense psychological edge. After you take that $1,500 out, your initial $500 to $700 operational buffer remains completely untouched. You get paid, you relieve all that financial pressure that causes so many stupid trading mistakes, and your account's defensive armor remains perfectly shielded and ready for the next round.
This creates an unyielding mechanical flow of money. It's essentially a rigid 4-step machine. Step 1, you build the equity to the target. Step 2, you execute the withdrawal. No hesitation, no second guessing. Step 3, you calculate your remaining balance. And step 4, which is absolutely the most critical part of the entire machine, you ensure your operational buffer is totally secure before you even think about taking another trade. It's a strictly professional procedure. And professionals, they don't deviate from the operations manual just because they happen to be having a good day.
When you map out the entire lifespan of this account, cycles 2, 3, and 4 are identical carbon copies of cycle 1. You start with your buffer, you hit your $3,000 target, you take your $1,500 withdrawal, and your buffer remains. There is absolutely no compounding here. There's no hero trading, that incredibly dangerous moment where you feel invincible after a big win and suddenly decide to double your risk. You never raise your targets based on a rush of ego. You just repeat the exact same mechanical process over and over, like a factory worker punching a clock. Then, when you finally reach payout 5, you simply follow whatever the firm's specific rules are to close out the account. If there are end-of-project bonuses or refunds, hey, fantastic, but you never ever count on them during your daily grind.
Let's move to Section 4, the operational floor. To maintain that kind of boring, repetitive consistency, a good offense requires an unbreakable defense. Now, the prop firm is going to give you a maximum loss limit, or MLL. This is their absolute floor before they pull the plug and take the account away. Honestly, forget about it. You never even want to get close to that number. Hitting the MLL is like the engine exploding in your car. Instead, your true limit is your operational floor, which is internally set at $50,700. Think of this as your check engine light. If your equity drops from your profit targets and nears this internal floor, you immediately switch gears into buffer rebuild mode. In this mode, withdrawals are completely forgotten. Your only job in the entire world is to rebuild that initial $500 to $700 buffer. We do not engage in frantic emotional recovery trading. We just stop, reset, and rebuild our own internal wall. This internal floor dictates your entire daily operation. You really have to respect the weather of the market. If the market is choppy, unpredictable, or if your specific edge just isn't showing up that day, you gracefully step away. It's like trying to sail a boat when there's absolutely no wind. You don't force trades just to hit some arbitrary daily metric. That's like trying to squeeze water from a stone. Your primary job every single day isn't actually to make money. Your job is to protect that floor. Cash flow only happens if the account survives to see tomorrow.
Next up, Section 5, Emergency Rules and Protection.
To survive the long game, you've got to have strict protocols for when things inevitably go wrong. So here are your emergency triggers. First, if your daily loss hits negative $400. Second, if you fail 2 consecutive A-plus setups. An A-plus setup is your bread and butter absolute highest probability trade. If the market breaks 2 of those in a row, the market is screaming at you that it's broken, not your strategy. Third, if the market suddenly becomes erratic. And finally, perhaps the most important trigger of them all, if you feel that hot, emotional urge to chase a target you just barely missed. If literally any of these things happen, you execute the emergency protocol. You close the platform, you write down in your journal exactly why you stopped, and you walk away. Closing a laptop is your ultimate superpower, and you do not open that software again until tomorrow.
To figure out if you're actually succeeding, we use weekly key performance indicators. But these aren't the metrics amateurs look at. We couldn't care less about having a massive, lucky profit day. We measure success defensively. Is your benchmark day improving? Is your operational buffer still intact? Did you respect your internal daily loss limits? Did you honor your give-back rule? And by the way, the give-back rule simply means if you were up for the day, did you make sure you didn't trade it all back to zero just out of greed? Are you making quiet, steady progress toward that $3,000 target? If you hit these defensive metrics, the cash flow will naturally take care of itself.
Finally, Section 6, the final flex mantra. We're going to wrap up this playbook with the ultimate mindset anchor. This should dictate every single decision you make on the charts. It goes exactly like this. I do not build equity, I build cash flow. Every payout is a finished project. The next cycle starts from the buffer, not from ego. Memorize that. Treating every single payout as an isolated, completely finished project is the absolute key to extracting real money from this industry. Once you withdraw, the project is done. The door is closed. You reset. You lean on your buffer. You never, ever let yesterday's massive win inflate today's position size. The rules are set. The operational floor is firmly established. You now have a precise, step-by-step roadmap to extract capital safely and consistently. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Will you continue trading for the illusion of the dashboard, risking it all just for a temporary high score on a virtual screen? Or will you execute this roadmap to build a boring, mechanical, and highly profitable cash flow business? The choice between amateur gambling and professional execution is totally yours.